Right, just give me a sec. Everything should work fine. Just seconds or whatever. Let's just launch the restream chat. Okay. We'll start in a second. Alright, cool, we're live. I'm just setting up the watchmework.com stuff because it's the first time and need an extra minute. So this goes here. Cool. Alright guys, welcome. I'm Meto Petkov and this is my first stream for Watch Me Work, and I'm kind of excited because I usually stream just on Twitch. This is my first time up here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on game assets during my streams, which for now I plan to be every Wednesday, but we'll see, maybe we'll do them more often if it's fun and if it's cool. And today we are going to start in ZBrush, and we're gonna create some props for a game level, basically some set dressing pieces. And on the next stream next week, probably we'll have these pieces high poly, and we'll show you how to go and how to make the low polys and how to make the texturing process and put them into engine. And I want every piece that we create here to actually see it in the game, so we'll end up using Unreal Engine because this is the engine I use for game production. When I want to show some assets, this is where I go. Okay, so what I'm gonna start is I'm feeling sci-fi today, which if you've been watching my channel is not a big surprise. If you've not, you can go to YouTube/Meto Petkov and check out my stream, check out my videos, tutorials, hit the subscribe button and support me, and this will be greatly appreciated. If not, just let's have fun. Alright, so today we're gonna create some kind of computer. I'm gonna start with kind of a hollow computer thingy, and I choose ZBrush to start and work in ZBrush and not in Maya, even for the low poly, just because I try to keep it into minimum applications, like not to spread you guys into like 6 different apps and 3D packages and software, just because not everyone can afford to have this. So we'll stick mainly ZBrush, and then we'll go just a little bit in Maya, and then a whole lot in Substance when we texture it, and finally we're gonna make it into Unreal Engine next week. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start with a QCube, make it Polymesh 3D, and initialize it. Alright, and we're gonna start basically. Actually, you know what? Let's first go to Unify. There we go. And now we can start creating some big changes to it. Mirror and weld it to get a central line. And now I can work in symmetry, which I wouldn't be able to. Tell me if everything's fine, guys, with the audio and all this, because as I said, this is the first time I stream here, so yeah, it will be kind of a hollow thingy. So we can come here and look like this. Mirror and weld it. And let's very quickly put the hologram screen, which I will remove later. But for now, I'm just gonna insert a plane. Just so we can see, we can have basic representation of what it will look like. There you go. And now we can go back to our thing. This one I'll make double just for now, so we can see it on both sides. And we're gonna break the symmetry here. I'm gonna bevel this. Okay. Perhaps more bevel will be better. There we go. If you just tap, it will Z modeler will repeat its last. Cool, that's not bad. There we go. No, I'm not working from a concept. I'm just doing what comes to my mind right now. Whoa. Nope, I don't like this. Cool, we can always move this one a little bit down. Okay, for now. And on this side, I like when pieces are not symmetrical. I mean, something like this can do great things, especially because here we'll have some kind of lights and stuff like this, which will make sense not to have it on both sides. And let's continue. So we're gonna insert a new primitive cylinder this time, and the initialize. Damn it. Alright, let's delete this and let's create a cylinder that we can reuse during this project. So I'm gonna switch to a cylinder. Where it is, cylinder 3D. Gonna draw one. And before I go to make polymer 3D, I'm gonna get rid of the divides and make it 20 sides. 20 sides is good. And now I'm gonna make it polymer 3D. And I'm gonna rename the tool, so cylinder, just so I can know it when I append it. I'm gonna come back to our computer here, or screen or whatever, and I'm gonna insert the cylinder. Now we have, and this, you can save this as a brush and reuse it whenever. Yeah, this will be Boolean, so I'm not kind of worried. This is a separate group. Sometimes it gets a similar color, but it's different. So I can now QMesh polygroup O and hold shift, and it will create this kind of thing that we can work with. Probably more. So actually, let's create this and then slide this hose loop down a little bit to create this kind of thing, and then do this. Okay, that's good. And now just this one. Yeah, I don't talk that much during streams. Usually, because a lot of the work we do, especially with team model, is kind of repetitive. So if I do something that I haven't done before, I'll definitely comment about it. But you know, I'm just gonna insert it. So what am I doing? Polygroup O, and we're gonna insert region. Then QMesh it. Polygroup island, because sometimes it will create polygroup that was already there. Alright. Now for the keyboard. I'm gonna have a little bit of projector here that will do as a difference up to, and then just yep, that's right. So let's do the inside once again. Actually, we can do it later, and we can just not do it like this. So height group by normals. Let's see if we can increase the PG. Of course, it doesn't work at some point. Let's see if this works. There we go. For now, this will work. And now we're gonna do the projector, because here those two will basically project the hollow screen, and we'll need another projector here that will project the keyboard, because everything will be holographic in the future, of course. So we're gonna switch to cube to make new tool that will just append to the main thing. So what am I doing? Initialize. First, let's make Polymesh 3D. Initialize this cube and unified, and we can now start working. Just break the form a little bit before doing anything else. You can use the gizmo to kind of make it planar. Basically, what you would do if you're in Max and just go to Meto Planar, this is the same thing. You just center your gizmo to the unmatched point, and then when you smash the scale value into the right direction, it gets something like this. Alright, so now we can do this. And Q-merge those. Cool. And now we're gonna append the cylinder that we created, and this way we are using, this is what I meant when I said we'll be reusing this cylinder. We're gonna make it like this, and closer and then scale this part. Like this, just a little bit. And once again, group by normals, set it. By the way, for my custom menu, it's basically the things I use the most are down here, and the brushes I use the most are my hotkeys. And you know, Alt S is solo, and S is solo, and Alt T is transparency, and Alt R is like booleans. So nothing special there. Just if you count at the end of if you count the times you lose by going to the menus and clicking and dragging all those shit, at the end of the day you kind of lose. If you count this time, at the end of the day you realize you lost a lot doing that. So yeah, so I inset it, and if I'm not happy with the way I inset it because I started talking, I can always go to and hover over an edge and go to slide with the edge loop complete and just go like this. And then once again I'm gonna Q mesh this in, click it to isolate it, hold Control A to mask it, Control Shift click to select it to show everything, invert the mask, and then just scale it down like this. And this will basically be our projector. Yeah, I can make this beveled simply by going to single edge loop, and this is something that a lot of people miss when they do it. If you go to a single edge loop and you go to intensity with the Z Mother brush, it will actually create height. So I have like 56 intensity or whatever. If I click with the insert function, of course, as you can see, I create this thing, which when I subdivide it, it will create a better, you know, edge. And if I want to go even more defined, I can go to bevel, and let's get rid of this. I can go to bevel, edge loop complete, and create this to be smoother bevel. So now I get this, which is not perfect, but it's gonna be such a small part compared to the whole thing and it will be hidden. Like let me show you what I mean. So it will basically be like here. Here's where the transparency actually helps. We're gonna move it down a little bit. This, and I'm just gonna add another segment here, just like that. Right, now we're gonna move it. Cool. And because it's right in the center, what I can do is, if I want to have 3 of those, I can do it without going into the array mesh. I can just hold Control, move this one somewhere out here. I can manipulate if I want, so I can just make it this one bigger, but I'm not gonna. Clear the mask, and now we have 3 of those projectors. So, but before I do that, I'm gonna back up a little bit and I'm gonna fix the creasing. So what I do is basically, while I work with, because ZModeler doesn't allow real subdivisions, you gotta work with dynamic subdivisions, which is fine because they're amazing in this program. And what you can do is you can start by going to geometry, and this is why I have those here, but you can go start to geometry, and you can go to, actually first you gotta go to polygroups, and you can go to group by normals, which is group by normals, and then you can go to crease, and go to crease PG, This will basically create a crease like this. It will create creasing around the different polygroups. And what I do is I usually work with crease level of 3 and dynamic subdiv of 4, and that way I get sharp creases but not like super sharp, because nothing is crispy sharp, you know. And this doesn't look very good, so this is why it's just the start. And with ZModeler, because it's that amazing, what you can do is you can crease edge loops. So I'm gonna hover over an edge, go to crease edge loop complete, and now I can always go to Shift D and D if you haven't changed it as the default hotkey. And that way you can go to dynamic subdiv and out of dynamic subdiv, and those yellow thingies are your vertices, and the black line is the points the way they smooth. So right now, if I want this to be kind of better, I can make this one polygroup and go to crease PG again, or I can simply just click those two to be creased, and then when I crease it, it creates this kind of edge, which is something that I want. And also this one here. So now I have this one like this, and that's pretty much what I want. And let's just leave it dynamic. I'll tap on this subtool, and let's bring this one here with Q mesh polygroup element. Now hold shift until I get the right position. Alright, and now I'm gonna go back to this one, control click it. I'm gonna drag one of those here, mirror weld, and this does it. So now I'm just gonna have to make the creasing for this, and those are will be a little bit more of a hand creasing, just because the crease by PG won't do a great job on those sides here, but that's not a problem. So the same principle applies to here basically. So, and you can work in symmetry on this part, just because you are perfectly in the center, you didn't break it. Right, that's good enough. And just let's make this to a dynamic subdiv of 4 and creasing of 3. It's just basically one of those settings that are good, like for obviously for different things you want to play with different settings, but for this I just love the way they work. There's something wrong going on here, but modify topology and mirror weld points. Yeah, alright. I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm not worried that much about it. One other thing you can do is you can not use creases for your dynamic subdiv, but use the Q grid. And let me show you what this does. So Q grid is basically create a chamfer. If you're a Max user, you know what I'm talking about. And with this you control how hard you want it to be. Like you can make it crispy sharp, you can make it something like this, which is fine for me. And then you can go to chamfer or bevel, which are the two different, you know, types of chamfering. And now that I'm ready, we're just gonna go and merge everything down. So merge down, rename this just so we can find it easily. Go back to our subtool, and now we can we can insert it. Cool, and now we're gonna use booleans to, you know, cut this. So what I'm going to do now, okay, is I'm gonna get this one here. I'm gonna QMesh it. So QMesh polygroup island, hold Control to break it from the actual geometry, and I'm gonna QMesh it once again. Now we have two parts, so I can just isolate part of this bottom thingy. Hold Control Shift or A to select all, invert and split hidden, which view will be here in the split, and I'll have this one as a separate subtool, which I'm gonna use to cut inside the other object. And for this we're gonna use booleans, just because booleans are awesome. Okay. We're gonna showing those two, go to boolean, and now we're gonna go to transparency. I'm gonna basically cut something like this, which is nice. And now if we enable this one, you see we have kind of a nice import or whatever you call it. And this won't be animated just because this is a simple asset as a prop, but if it's animated you can play around a little bit and you can go inside and hide it. Basically you suggest the design that it's happening. So now one other thing we can do is we can actually get rid of the dynamic subdiv, get rid of the QGrid, and uncrease all just for now. There we go, and now we're gonna polygroup all crisp, and there we go. There we have it. I'm just gonna make this perfectly crisp, so there we go, and I'm going to make it just slightly bit bigger than it is. So what I can do is I can simply mark all those by holding Alt in the Z Modeler brush and then make it humor this like that, just a little bit. Perfect. Okay, and now we can create this. If you don't want to keep the Boolean operations running, you can just create this as a Boolean mesh and reinsert it. For now I'm gonna leave it though, just because I have some things to work on this part. I don't work with that many booleans, to be honest. Like, I do a lot of booleans, but I always when I do a boolean, I know I'm done with the boolean. I just make it a mesh and reinsert it and then delete the boolean parts. I don't know why, just a habit. Perhaps not the best habit, but a habit nonetheless. And here we gonna need this one to be creased. There we go. The cool thing about this is you can get your move and let's turn off booleans just for a second. And if you click this, you can select you can move multiple parts, so I can do those and move them all a little bit like this, and then get rid of this one. Okay, so now we moved it in a little bit, just so we have a, you know, not such a tiny edge here. So next thing, let's create some interesting pieces here to make it a little bit more eye-catching. I'm going to insert multiple edge loops with specified resolution of 3, and I'm gonna go to same polygon. There you go. Actually, let's go with specified resolution 6. That's much better. And now I can go to, let's go to solo. I can go to poly loop, poly group, poly loop, hold it, click, and then hit Alt until I get the poly group I want, and then just get those into one poly group, and then QMesh poly group O. Now we have something nicer. I forgot that it's in there though. Yeah, okay. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do only this one here. Oops. QMesh it. Alright, that's better. And I'm going to delete those because, well, we don't need them. So insert single edge loop and hold, and this will delete the geometry you don't need. And since even we are working in high poly right now, so we don't give a shit. Okay, I don't know if I can curse on the stream too, so I'll do it anyway, and in the future I'll see if I can do it again. So even though we're doing game assets and we are in the high poly where we don't give too much shits about poly count, and especially in ZBrush, because ZBrush handles a gajillion of polygons, we still want to have, you know, the minimum. And for this reason I'm going to I'm going to keep it, you know, without geometry there where I don't need one. So alright, this will sit on the desk like this. Let's turn on perspective just to see it. Okay, so now we can start doing some things on the top. And what I do usually is most of the time I just jump from part to part, and I don't work on one part until I'm done. I work on one part and then I jump to another and, you know, play there and then go back to play with the other part, and that way I keep myself involved. So let's insert this. It should work. Yeah. Okay. Once again, it won't catch your eye because, okay, it's a third-person game. Let's say you're gonna be looking behind your character, so it's gonna look something like this, which I can live with. And here we're gonna have some more LED or whatever lights are called. We're gonna make just in a sec. First I want to make this here a little bit more interesting. Whoa. For now, we'll leave it like this. We'll decide later if we need this at all, because we can very well just do like this. That looks kind of cool. And this won't be here at all. It will just be replaced later in Maya. When I UV it, I'm just gonna insert a new plane because this one is, you know. Alright, so now we're gonna fix this one here. I'm going to do that. We're going to create those here and we're gonna set it. Cool. And now get it in. And now on the back I don't need things. And actually what we can do is we can get to this part here, select this, damn it, we can go, because this one is pretty much done in terms of creasing, we can go and rearrange the polygroups. So I'm gonna go to auto groups, get this one, Control Shift A. Yeah, actually, first of all, I'm gonna duplicate this part, get this one, Control Shift A, delete hidden, and now I have this as a single piece. Whoa. There you go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, center it, and go and go to the brushes and make an insert brush, create insert mesh, new, and now I can delete this part. And let's show everything like this, and I'm gonna save it just for now. I use in Subtube, I use in Z-Tools. I don't work in Z projects that much. Usually if it's a character I would keep one Z project with everything, but I would probably work in Z-Tools. It's just cleaner for me. So let's save it and just make a new folder. Right. 01. Alright, now we have it. And now we can come here and well, on this part, actually from this brush, let's see, we can always do something like this. We can adjust our brush size a little bit smaller, and then start dragging, hold Control to snap to the size, and then just create this. Two of those are good enough for me. There we go. Those here will have to be creased, and I'll crease them manually just because it's faster. There we go. And what we gotta do is crease just the edge. Perfect. Cool. You now have this. So all we need to do is get some more subdivisions into it. What I'm thinking is that I can split the hidden and have those as separate subtools. So now I can just go to 4, increasing it 3. Alright, that's good enough. So now, if I want to, let me just resave this. What I can do is we can get only the booleans, so those two, only the booleans, like this. And we can go to, let me see if I want to do something about this part here. Do I like this? Well, yes, I do. Okay, so get this one, and we're gonna go to Boolean. We're gonna turn on the SDF because we are working with subdivisions. Then we're gonna go to make Boolean mesh and take a sip of beer while it makes the mesh. Yeah, it makes the mesh. There we go, it did it. So now we have this, which I know is excessively in terms of geometry, but we don't care, it's just the high poly anyway. So now we can get here and delete this one and delete this one and show everything. And now we're gonna insert the U mesh, and now we have this without any booleans. There we go. We can also make this one here. We can give it this kind of a shape form that looks good. It is maybe some kind of a scanner. So what we can do here is inset those. Cool. And basically we can reuse those little pieces here for everything, but I think it's gonna be fun to make it different. So first of all, let me just get this plane, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna hold control, move it, so now I have two planes, and I'm gonna rotate it to 90 degrees holding shift. Whoops, set 90, ZBrush, there you go. And I'm going to move it down to position and scale it in. Whoops. Scale it in until it represents kind of a keyboard. Cool. So this will be a matter, plane where you have so this thing here will project the keyboard, and this thing here will project this thing here will project I don't know, the screen. We can also do something something else that's cool. Let's work on this side here, because this one is kind of busy, so let's the counter here, and I'm going to insert multiple edge loop specified resolution of 1 to get a middle part, and then this one I'm gonna go to bevel, and I'm gonna bevel edge loop complete like this, and then bevel this one and this one, and then I'm gonna bevel this one and this one and this one and this one, and I'll show you why. Because right now what I can do is I can go get these two and push them in like this. That looks kind of cool, I think. However, let's create bigger bevels. Okay, and now there we go. So now let's do this thing again. Cool, and group by almost once again, just because I don't like seeing that many polygroups. And out here we can have the projectors. So like this, insert it. Insert single poly. Interesting. It should have no problems, but let's see. Yeah, it should have no problem. There are no polygons that we haven't seen here, but let's try QMesh to see if it works. Yeah, it works. Alright, we'll just leave it like this for now. And then if we want, you can, let's hide this side, and we can come with the brush we created and get something like this. Alright, there we go, and now we have places from where they project themselves. We want to make those say polygroup, mask it, invert the mask, and push them a little bit in. There we go. Now that looks kind of cool, I think. what we can do is we can okay, let's do this again. Don't forget, we are not doing something mechanical, we're not working a CAD, so it doesn't need to be mathematically perfect, like to decimal point. You can go for some differences here and there, as long as the shape is correct and the way it's gonna play out in the engine is correct, then whatever. Cool. That's better. Now I have this. Alright, we're getting there slowly. Sure, almost not here, just lurking. Okay, Jimmy and thank you for the kind words. So now we're gonna create a few more gizmos like this one, like those one, because quite honestly they're getting too repetitive and people will see that even if they don't pay too much attention to set dressing. If your set dressing is repetitive and you haven't paid too much attention to it, people will notice, because set dressing and props are what makes the environment. Not of course they put more attention to the hero assets and the big buildings and stuff like this, but the clutter, as some people call it, it's called set dressing. It's the set dressing. If your environment was a salad or whatever. So we're gonna get those to here. I'm not worried because basically right now I give myself a budget count of, like, let's say this to be 1,000 polys, 1,000 triangles. So I'm not worried because I'll think about all this in the future, not today. Today we just want to get some nice, cool design done. And I can work in geometry here, get this part, and then this one here, and QMesh this little bit on both sides, of course. Whoops. This little bit, there we go. And now what we can do is we can QMesh this one like this. Let's see if it reads well. It reads well. And then we can go here, inset, and you probably know what I'm going for here, but there we go. Here we'll have the final projector, which will make another gribble or gizmo or whatever. So let me just check how much time we've spared. We're exactly 1 hour, and we're done with basically the box model for it. If we had a concept, this would have been done for being like no time at all, but we don't. If someone out there wants to do some kind of a, you know, fan art or stuff like this, just whisper me and we can do it if you want, if you have designs that you want to see done. So let's this will be the final design for this piece. So what we need now is, I'm just gonna get this one and split hidden. There we go. So let's do the creasing here first. And the creasing here will probably just be polygroups creased by PG, and we're starting to get somewhere, although, you know, not nearly as well as we want to. So we're gonna start creasing manually. I'm gonna get out of symmetry because this here it's not symmetrical, and it will say that it can't do symmetry because it breaks the model. I can go to geometry, crease, and go to crease tolerance, but this way I can creasing every single thing here, every single edge loop or edge even gives me a control that I wouldn't get with ZBrush, with crease tolerance. Sorry. And by the way, it's not that much. As you can see, we did it with like a few clicks. And sometimes you can actually see things that you wouldn't have expected this way, and you would think this reads well, and you can, you know, leave it. Not that this is the case here. Cool. 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 Go around here, and if you have trouble navigating, there is something quick for you. If you when you hold Alt and you zoom with the left mouse button, it will zoom to the center of your gizmo if you have the gizmo on. So if I want to zoom here, I can just move the gizmo here and zoom wherever I want. No. Alright, so let's crease this one as well. No need not to. Whoa. I think here we'll have some problems, but let's take a look at those. They look actually good. I don't mind this pinching. It won't affect anything. So here we gotta fix it though. Like this, and let's fix it here. Cool. So now we have this. This is ready for applying those dynamic subdivisions, because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna apply it. You can create a you can UV it if you want to use the noisemaker. Have in mind though that when you UV and you copy paste the UVs from the clone, because that's how unwrapping in ZBrush works, you will lose the creasing. So the whole thing that I did right now would be for nothing if I decide to crease now. So basically you crease first and then you can start doing your stuff. And now we can go to let's see, what am I? You can go, yeah, for the creasing. I think I have. Let me see. Just a second. I have a video for that from one of the streams earlier, but I'll find it in a second. Let's just let me just do this first, really quick. So now I wanna create the subdivisions to 4 and the creasing level to 3. Painful. Okay, let's do 4 and 5. Perhaps it's kind of a small object. There's sometimes ZBrush is kind of not very cool with it. This is good. This is how I'm gonna leave it. At this point, I think this is the best I'm gonna get. Plus, it's really clean. I don't think it needs anything different. Yeah, so this is it for now. We can apply it, but let's just keep it dynamically as less as we can, as much as we can. So let me just check where this is. So if you go to my channel in YouTube and you go to the playlist, there is Character Hour, which is, let me see, yeah, which has a lot of videos, and somewhere there is kind of video on somewhere around in the streams we are doing noisemaker, but we're gonna do noisemaker very pretty soon here, just not on this particular piece, because when you do fabrics you basically live by your noisemaker. If you want to give some details here, you most likely go through it. So yeah. Alright, let's create Greebles, and I think this will end today's episode. We kind of got to a point where we can do it, where we can say we've done something, that we haven't just sit around here. It would be nice to create some kind of events on this. Actually, you know what? Let's do this first. So I'm gonna bring this down the bottom, and I'm gonna make a group. I'm gonna make start group, and then I'm going to, let's get our primitive brushes. Let's get this one, and I'm gonna create some levels. Split mask points. There you go. And now I'm going to rotate it to a position I like. That's good. Let's see, like booleans. And this is actually not bad. There we go. And now I'm just gonna push it in a little bit. And now I can get this to, first let's mirror it. And the reason I'm mirroring and then pressing mirror well is because I made a mistake and I created it on the wrong side, because mirror well always works left to right. Anyway, this is what I usually do in texturing, but if you want to be that precise here, you can. So what you want to do is, let's do array mesh. So array mesh, and I'm gonna lock position, lock size, turn transpose on. And now, whoa, it suddenly started doing something. Alright. And what we can do now is go to the gizmo, press Y, which will bring back the old transpose line. And now we can play with the array mesh. So I'm gonna repeat it, well, not 4 times. And I'm gonna drag this and create this thing here, which I think is cool. If I mirror weld it, well, we'll deal with this later. So now I have alright, and it's still just this piece. So if I come here and I decide to create group binomals and go with lasso, let's get rid of this group binomals and let's get rid of this part here. And it saves. Alright, so like this, and then increase PG, and now we have let's do some manual things here, and this one just in case. Whoa, there you go. And now I can go to make mesh, and it will make the mesh. And now we have this. The array mesh is now actually all real mesh, not just projections of one of those. And now I can let's go back to the gizmo. And now I can go mirror weld. And now we have this. So. But once again, I don't see why I do this here when I can do it with one brush stroke in Substance and draw it as even bump, even with height, with metallic, with color, which we'll get to next week. But for now, let's leave it like this. Let's say this is, we want to give our model that much of a detail. Let's say it's gonna be kind of your menu, and if it's gonna be kind of your menu, you're gonna probably, if this is your screen when you play the game, you will, when you open your menu, you will zoom to about here, which suddenly makes it kind of important part of your environment, because it will take almost all your spaces and you will want to see better details. You would, most of the times you will know before you start working what's going to be the case and how much details you will want to put in this. But well, cool. Alright, so let's do grievos and gizmos and stuff to put here and here and one here, and this will be the end of today's episode. So Okay, the cylinder, the projector we can delete. I'm just gonna clean up my stuff here, and we're to this part. So this one I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna give it increment of 0.2. You guys, I take it you know, but if you wanna be sure that you won't lose your work, just go to your preference and go to your preference and your quick save, and you can do maximum duration, rest duration, and quick saves. So I have my quick saves, quick saving rather fast, rather in short increments of time, because well, now ZBrush doesn't almost never crashes, but with when it was R7, it kind of did more often than I would like to. So from then on, I just have this to quick save a lot, and then in your lightbox, in the quick save, you have quick saves, and I usually just keep 2 quick saves because, and if it crashes, you have recovered too most of the time, so not a big problem. All right, so let's go to our cylinder, which cylinder will become the base for a lot of cool gizmos. I'm gonna unify it again, and I'm going to rotate it, and let's create different types of basically the same thing. And right now I'm just gonna bang those fast because we already explained this the first time we did it, so no need to repeat myself. You guys are smart, you know how to do it already if you didn't before, which I'm sure you did. And now I'm done with one of those, so I'm just going to duplicate it and go back to the first and revert this process all the way to where I want it, which is somewhere, yeah, somewhere on here. And I can delete my steps and I can start working on it. And for this one, I'm gonna initialize it since I don't want to make it a circle. I want to make a rectangular one. So I'm just gonna hit initialize as a cube again, and I have it in this state, which is what I kind of want. And those will be kind of a buttons. Let's create this one. Let's make this one as a button, like a big old red button that you press the power on. Maybe they have those in the future. So group by normals. Interesting. Anyway. So now I have this, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do what we did in our cylinder. Bye Jimmy, thanks for stopping by, man. See you next time, I guess. We're gonna go and hold control, start Q mashing it out and hold control. Do this thing here. Let's move this whole subtool to the bottom, and then create protrusion. Select this one, Control Shift A, invert selection and split hidden. And now we have both this, and this will be kind of our button in here, and we're gonna make it geometry, dynamic subdiv, and we can get rid of this, we don't need it, this middle part, so there we go. And now we can increase it, so group by normals, crease PG. For this one we can actually increase all, and we can use the Q grid. I think it will be better. So we're gonna go with Q grid of 2, let's say, and then we're gonna play with the coverage until we get what we want, which is this thing here. And when we apply it, if I hit apply, and I'll show you, if I hit apply, as you can see, it gets much less geometry. If this is a concern for you, with the cube grid you get less geometry, but you still get some. So once again, this shouldn't be a concern for you. Okay, so we have this one here, which let's push a little bit more back. All right, and now we have this one, which we're gonna give this some nice creasing. And first, let's see if we can get away with Q grid here as well. So 2, and then and I think this is good enough. Alright, so this is our button here, and now all we have to do is go to merge down, yes. Okay, that's good enough for us now. So I'm gonna make one more because we are kind of running out of time for today, and I just wanna do at least one more and then place them into our model. So this one kind of looks like the vault thing. We can create. Okay. So we have this one, and we have this one, and now what to do next is I'm gonna do another circular thingy. So I'm gonna go back all the way until I have a cube. Shoot this to the bottom because probably I'll split it. Group by normals, mirror and weld. Group by normals again. Cool. Now let's work with symmetry. And this one will be kind of weird shaped. I don't know if we'll get to use it. Kind of like those old keyboards that where the enter is kind of like a G, like a weird shaped. I don't know what shape it is. English is my second language, so don't judge me. Alright. Single poly on this with no symmetry. This one in. Move this one. This. And I'm basically, if you go and look at the computer we're doing, this kind of shape is kind of being repetitive. This kind of a not so much of a straight angle shape, and this is something that I like to do, like different shapes, but they all should you know, lie together in a good harmony when you uh, belong. Sorry, my language is, my words are failing me. The things that come out of my mouth are failing me. So I'm gonna mirror weld in the Y. Actually, I'm gonna move this one just a little bit, and then I'm gonna mirror it first, and then I'm gonna mirror weld in the Y. Now we have this here. And I'm gonna do those two to inset. There we go. And basically we're gonna create the buttons the way we did earlier. So put them in, so Q mesh them in, then Q mesh them out holding, whoa, then Q mesh, once again, those four, Q mesh them out holding control, Q mesh polygroup all again, there we go, and now go Shift A, is it on the bottom though? I usually keep the thing I work on the bottom, simply because that way it's easier to access it, and when you split it you don't have to look whatever you split where it is. So now we have this, and let's unsolo it. Those things here are perfect like they are. I'm gonna go to crease, yeah, let's go and do the same thing here. So dynamic, cube grid of 2, and 0.035. I think it was on the previous button, so I see no reason why this one should be different. Put them in their place, like this, perfect. And now for this one, with more normals, alright, this one will go, and just to make it different and not repetitive, we're gonna go with the creasing option we took for the main body of the this terminal. Boom. And now we have this, which is probably 0.025. Yeah, this is better. And we're gonna go to merge all this down. So there you go, merge down. Yep. Whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, damn it. We can do this because when we merge it, it takes the creasing method of the upper subtool. When you merge down, it inherits the creasing and the dynamic subdivision properties and the settings for things like poly loops and panel loops and stuff like this from the one that you merge inherits the settings of the parent. So anyway, we have this, and I think cool, we can work with this. And now what we have is all these things, and if I hit the expose, you can see this. It doesn't usually this button doesn't get too much of a use, so I wanted to share it with you. So now we can all make this whole one brush. And first of all, of course, this has to be unified. No, actually, it doesn't have to be unified, but let's do like this, right? And we can now go and center it, because don't forget that everything you do, when you create a brush, it will be drawn based on your camera. So if we create the brush while having this view, it will draw it this way. So we're gonna have this way selected, and you can hold shift to snap to front, and we're gonna go to brush, create multi insert mesh, and now we have this as a separate brush. And now if we go to our computer and where we are, this is not a good place to be. There we go. If we come here, and we can start inserting those things. And if you want to create like 2 or 3 or 5 different assets that share the same attributes, perhaps like 5 different computers, and they're created by the same manufacturer in the game lore or whatever, you can save this. So you can go to brush, save as, and you can save it as brush. So I'm gonna save it kind of a gizmos and stuff. Why not? And now I have it in my project folder. So now we're gonna select this one. We're gonna insert this one here. Whoa. Right, and we're going to modify it according to our needs. So this is good. It breaks the form a little bit, but I like this because if it doesn't, you can get away with map. But now when it does, you gotta make actual geometry because it's the silhouette. Anyway, so let's insert. Let's actually go get this, and let's insert this one here. Seems it lost the creasing again. Well, anyway, because it inherited, yeah. You're right. My bad, but this button I don't like it. Perhaps we want to do this first, so let's do that. Looks cool. We can move it as much as we want in. So there we go. Perfect. Now we can go and split mask points to have it in a different way. There we go. And for here, I think it will be just I think this here may be the main part of the computer where the hardware is, so it might just have some stickers or something. And I think we should put a pin here. We did kind of good. We are getting there. I don't know, perhaps I'll do some things offline, just a few modifications to it offline, just so I have it ready for next week when we are going to texture this guy and create the actual mesh, because this here is just concept and the high poly thing. So we're gonna create the actual game mesh, and it will be mostly ZBrush. We'll have some work done in Maya. I'll show you. I'm sure you know, but we'll basically just uh, be using a decimated version of this one. We'll try if we can get away with decimated version. If not, we're gonna retopple it. It's nothing, but I don't think we have to. I think the decimation master will do a great job. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. This was my first stream with watchmework.com. I am pretty happy how it turned out, and I think we'll be seeing each other a lot. You can always check my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, Meto Petkov, and check all the videos you can find there. You can find information about me. You can also check my Twitch, which you can find through the through my YouTube. It's also Meto Petkov, and from my Twitch you can find my contact if you want to contact me. If you want something, whisper me in or leave a comment in the video, because this will be uploaded to my YouTube channel immediately. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Today was fun. We created some cool stuff, and we'll continue with it next week. So bye bye from me, and take care. See ya.